Hi, I'm Nancy Sievers. I'm from New Hampshire. I am a volunteer with Olpc, and I work with projects in Southeast Asia, in Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, inquiries that come to Olpc. I try to serve as the ambassador for Southeast Asia for Olpc, self-appointed, Adam Holt appointed ambassador.
Cool. And then what got you started?
I saw the 60 Minutes segment in late 2007 and thought, wow, this is a wonderful idea to improve the lives and futures of children in the world's poorest countries by teaching them computer skills. I thought, this is something I'm interested in. I got on the email list and went to the website, looked at it, and shortly after was the first Give One, Get One campaign. So I bought, I donated one to a child in the developing world, buy one, give one, get one, and received my XO for the child in my life, which was me. I thought if a child could do it, I could do it. And I was a little technology challenged. Some of us of my demographic are. And started using my XO for travel. Wherever I went, I only used the XO. People, wherever I go, say, what? They still today, what is that? Where can I get one? And I thought, we never know who I'm going to meet that's going to be the next benefactor for Olpc. I wasn't in the position to buy children XOs, you know, in the developing world. I had no contacts, not enough money, etc. 2 years later, I was still using my XO for travel, and I was on a boat in Vietnam, and I was typing in my XO for my travel blog, and the tour guide said, wait till tomorrow when you see the school in the village we're going to visit, and the children. They work so hard, they don't have books or school supplies, they often don't have teachers. Very remote village. That's a floating village in Halong Bay, Vietnam. So that started me thinking that if the XOs would work, the laptops would work in the middle of the South China Sea, referred to as the Eastern Sea in Vietnam, they would work. This project would work anywhere in the world. This was so remote, 3 hours from land. I thought, if this would be the perfect place for an Olpc project. I didn't know anyone at Olpc. It was hard to figure out how to start a project. So that was my first mentoring job as a support gang member. How do you start a project? In October 2009, I brought 12 XOs to the village for the 23 children in the schools. That village is off the grid. I had to figure out solar power. I've learned so much. I've received such a larger gift than what I've given. I just can't tell you how doing this work has changed my life, my outlook on things.
Cool. Talk a little bit about the landmine work that you've done.
Okay, so I mentor projects as a support gang member, and that means when someone inquires, how can we get a laptop, somebody from Olpc has to answer those questions. And our support system is all volunteer driven. Not a lot of salaries going to employees at Olpc, something I like. So one of the projects I was asked to respond to was a small team of people, 3 people, who asked us to provide used XOs for them to test, develop a game to teach children to identify the risks of landmines, unexploded ordnance, in their environment. For instance, in Cambodia, there are landmines, and children go out and they walk their dog, and somebody gets blown up, loses a limb or even a life. And these people wanted to develop a game for the XO to be used in rural areas. I was the mentor on that project, so I've been following it. So the game got made, but it didn't quite get finished, and the PR portion hasn't really gotten the game out there into the field to save limbs and lives. So with the permission of the team, the blessing of the team, I brought the project here to the summit to seek help from some of the more skilled developers that are attending to try to get that game working so that I can take it to Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, on November 11th to attend the FOSS Asia Open Source Software Conference. And I'm really looking forward to getting the word out about that game to governments who have landmine issues in Southeast Asia. It's really exciting.
Cool. And then you had mentioned that the EXO laptop project had really changed your life. Like, in what way? Like an example. Well,
for me, I've learned technology. I've learned so much about. I've learned patience. I've learned that it's an education project, not a laptop project, and I don't need the fastest laptop to do what I need to do. But I'm not feeling left behind by our children and their children, our younger generation. I'm able to intuitively use a Mac and a Dell, switch between software. I wasn't able to do that before I started. How will it change the lives of children in the developing world is a better question. The children in the village in Vietnam that I took the laptops to had never seen a computer or a keyboard. The adults had never seen a computer. And most of the teachers that come to the village had never used a computer, although they knew what it was. They knew what the internet was, but they'd never been on it. The children in the cities, and this is true for all of the rural villages in Southeast Asia that I'm familiar with from my travel there. The children in the cities are in the internet cafes gaming from a young age. The middle schoolers and the elementary schoolers are there standing over their siblings' shoulders watching. They're shades ahead of the kids in the rural areas with facility, with IT, with computers. In this 21st century world, with the internet being so much of our daily lives everywhere in the world, children's futures depend on their being able to operate a computer. These children that are receiving laptops through Olpc all over the world will now be poised to compete for jobs not necessarily in the IT industry, but jobs that require them to be able to write in a word processing program and to make posters and documents and spreadsheets. They'll know how to do that from using their XOs, and they'll be able to get jobs and bring better health and nutrition to their families. That's my hope, anyway.
Cool. And what have been some of your toughest challenges working in these environments, and what are the ways that you came up to overcome them?
Well, my toughest personal challenge is my age and being able to handle the rough travel. And I overcome that with yoga. If I can't squat and I'm somewhere where there are no facilities, I have to be able to get down on the floor, so it keeps me young. The toughest challenges in the projects. There are many. I'll highlight a few. One unexpected one was that in the Southeast Asian culture, especially in Vietnam, the teachers are the experts on their subject matter. They're viewed at a very high level of respect and regard, and they teach, and the children behave in class, and they learn what they're taught. Everyone who's used a computer knows that oftentimes we can't figure something out, and we have to put our heads together, hands-on, trial and error, and say, let's figure this out together. A teacher in Vietnam who had never used a computer was afraid to teach the children because she or he would lose face if they weren't an expert. How do we teach teachers to change the whole culture of education to allow for hands-on learning and collaboration? That's a tough challenge. Second challenge, how do we answer the question to parents, our kids, sure, they like the laptops. What kid wouldn't want to play computer games? But our kids are very busy. They have to study. They have to learn their subjects. They don't have time to play computer games. How are you going to use these computers in the classroom to deliver the required curriculum? Those are two challenges. Power, it's another challenge, but power, well, that's solvable. You can get solar power. You can figure things out. But those were the two greatest challenges, I think.
Okay, and then did you have any ways of meeting those challenges or coming up with solutions for them?
Patience and time. I'm learning all the time. Meeting people, volunteering, coming to the summit like this, where I learn what other people. I'm not from a teaching background, surprisingly, and I view my skill set as a problem solver and a cheerleader. So meeting people who are from an education background, taking the education track classes here at the summit, learning that that curriculum exists in other languages that could be translated to English. For instance, Nepal, OLE Nepal, has a lot of curriculum already. If someone could translate that to English so it could be localized to other languages, we wouldn't have to invent the wheel and invent the curriculum for the XO. So those are the kinds of things I'm learning to try to meet those two great challenges.
Cool. And then any comments you'd like to add or questions that you wished I'd ask, or in that vein?
Well, I just have to say that doing this was just the biggest gift for me in my life. And so if you wonder, well, I couldn't do that. I don't have enough money. I don't have time. I don't have the skills. Well, I didn't have any of those things, and I did it, so you can too.